8:36, time to check in with Kat Neville from Feast Magazine. Stay right there. We're going to check in with Christine Byers of the Post-Dispatch, who's following this crime lab story in St. Louis County. She's joining us here in a bit. But first, Jimmy's on the Park sponsors Kat Neville and Feast Magazine, 706 to Munn and Clayton, 725-8585, or their website, jimmyscafe.com. Jimmy's a great place for dinner before and after the Fox, Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday. They're just about 5-10 minutes from everywhere. Jimmy's on the Park. 706 to Munn in Clayton. Good morning, Kat Neville.
Morning.
What do I have in front of me?
Okay, so extra virgin and olive ovation is kind of beloved by many home cooks and also a lot of really terrific local chefs that source their olive oil and some specialty products through Marianne Prey, who's the owner. She recently relocated, and the new spot's been open for a little bit. It's at 8829 Ladue Road. Right there, kind of right by where actually the Ladue News is. It's in that same kind of plaza.
Okay.
And the new location it's bigger than the old location, and so she has more products. What is amazing about what she brings to the scene is that when you walk into the space, you know, I actually brought a bottle of olive oil with me so that you could taste this particular olive oil, because you look at a bottle and you look at the label and it's kind of like wine. You know, I mean, you have to know how to read the label. You have to know everything. So you don't know what it tastes like. And she has an olive oil tasting bar, and also vinegar tasting bar, where you walk in and you can pour these different olive oils into these little paper cups and actually taste it. So taste that olive oil.
All right.
This is one of my favorites. Tell me what it smells like to you.
It smells like some type of herb.
Mm-hmm. So olive oil, a lot of times,
like parsley.
This is one of my favorites, and yeah, when you taste it, what does it taste like to you?
Tastes like parsley.
To me, it's very kind of bitter almost.
That's
and astringent.
what I meant bitter, yeah.
And it has, and it's spicy. Do you get that kind of spice on the back of your throat, the back of your palate?
There is a little kick to it, yeah.
I really like very spicy olive oils, and they range from kind of buttery and grassy to more kind of pungent and spicy.
Right.
And the great thing about going into extra virgin is that you can not only taste all these olive oils, but she knows the people that produce these oils. She sources them individually, and she told me the story about the folks that made this particular olive oil, and it's a family in Italy that makes olive oil the old way. They hand harvest, they hand grind all the different olives. So she has things that range from California-made olive oil to something made from Crete to something made in Italy, Spain. And she can guide you through the entire kind of world of it.
You said to me before we went on the air that you don't cook with this olive oil.
It would be a waste.
What do you do with it then?
This is a finishing oil. You can use it on salads. You can drizzle it on, for example, on the top of soups. You can drizzle it on breads. Because it has, number one, it's pricey. This is like a $30 bottle of olive oil. But also, when you cook with it, you're going to lose all that nuance. So you kind of waste it in a way. So there are different types of olive oils that you absolutely can and should use for cooking,
right.
But this would not be one. And so along with the olive oils, I mentioned that she also has some other specialty products. She has this other thing that I've tried. It's actually kind of like a tapenade, which is like an olive spread. This one in particular, it's olive al cacao. And it comes in a jar, and it actually has some chocolate mixed in with the olives, and it is really a unique flavor. What's great about these type of specialty stores is that you get items that are curated by someone who, like Marianne, is just completely knowledgeable. And so you'll find stuff like this that you would not find anywhere else, but also she can tell you what it tastes like. And if it's available for sampling, you can try it. And another thing that I really want to mention is that she has an amazing vinegar selection. And this one in particular, when I was in there, I picked up a sampler so I could kind of try all these different things. It's a Rosendahl a series of vinegars that are made in South Africa, and so there are green tea vinegar, a lavender vinegar. One that is the South African. It has like all the Cape Floral Kingdom herbs and flowers in it, and then a hibiscus vinegar. So all these different vinegars that are made in a very traditional kind of French way, using like the same mother over and over, like the mother of the vinegar is,
Right.
kind of like when you make sourdough bread, same kind of a deal. It's just so cool because you can just
Who
explore
knew?
all these specialty items.
Is this $30 bottle, is this extra virgin olive oil?
Yes.
Okay, it is. But
is.
even though it's extra virgin, you still don't cook with it, or there are better ones
So
to cook with.
there's extra virgin refers to the way that it's produced.
Right.
So there are different ways that olive oil is produced. Like the first pressing is the extra virgin, but like I said, there's also pomace oil, which is absolutely not virginal in any way, shape, or form. But a lot of people will fry with it or cook with it or something like that because you still get some of that olive oil flavor and some of the health properties of it, but it's not as expensive.
It's also infinitely healthier
Yeah.
than Crisco or
There's
butter, no?
well, see, natural fats are good fats. Things like Crisco are hydrogenated, and a couple decades ago, we're thinking, oh, it's vegetable shortening. It must be better for us, and we were saying, no, we shouldn't eat things like lard,
Right.
which is basically what Crisco was a substitute for, because we thought because lard had saturated fats in it, it must be bad for you. But the thing is that lard is a natural fat, and it's infinitely better for you than hydrogenated oil, which is something that we are finding out more and more is really, really bad for you.
Crisco. I mean, imagine just taking a huge tablespoon of Crisco,
Well,
just
I
throw it in
mean,
the pan. I mean,
but
that sounds
fat
awful.
is a necessary part of our diet.
I understand
And
that.
when you look at, in my personal opinion, and science, we're coming to this conclusion. You need to have, number one, I believe you need to eat natural foods. And people ask me all the time, how is it that you're not a zillion
Right.
pounds? I don't eat fake food, and I really think that and I eat fat. I don't cut back on the amount of fat
Right.
that I eat, but I eat real fat. So I eat. If I bake a pie, I'm going to use lard in my crust. And if I, and I eat butter and I, eat olive oil, but they're natural, high quality fats. And I think that that's the key.
All right. Extra virgin and olive ovation, 8829 Ladue Road.
Yes.
All right. What's number 2?
Number 2 is when's the last time you drove up the Great River Road?
Not soon enough, or not too long ago.
It's gorgeous. And if you have not actually taken the time to cross that bridge into Alton and drive north up the River Road, you are missing out on one of the treasures of what makes this region so amazing. It is actually the confluence of the Mississippi and the Missouri rivers right there. And it is gorgeous. There are these massive cliffs that kind of like shear off next to the road, which leads to the river, and it is so wide there. It's absolutely beautiful. You drive past like the little tiny town of Elsa, which is like, it's totally, like somebody put the dome over it. Stephen King came and put the dome over this thing. It's like locked in time. Drive up through Grafton, and I actually made a visit to Pere Marquette, which is this amazing state park, and they have this great lodge. But on my way back from Pere Marquette, I stopped at the Grafton Winery and Brewhaus, which is at 300 West Main in Grafton, Illinois. And they've recently expanded. They've been around for 5 years, and they are a winery. They don't grow their own grapes, but they do make some grape wines themselves. But then Illinois is really known for fruit wines, and they make a number of really interesting fruit wines, including one called Apple Crisp, which has won a number of medals. And then they also have seasonal fruit wines that you can only get in season. And the one right now that they have is Summer Peach, and it's really interesting. I mean, these are sweeter wines,
Right.
but they do have kind of a nice kind of acidic balance to them. They do have some other things like Chardonnay, Pinot Gris. Those are private labels. They don't make those themselves. So I'm more interested personally in what people are making
Right.
Another one that they have that I thought was nice is the excuse me, is the Harbor White, which they do make themselves, and it's a good summer sipping wine. Make it nice and cold and get out there on a hot day, not like today, which is perfect.
Right.
The weather gods have blessed us. But then the Brewhaus is terrific. You can go in and you can get by the pint, you can get a growler, and the IPA is made with the 2-row the brewer's malt and barley. It's heavier. It's got the true IPA style, and they actually have a full restaurant, so you can go in. There's a tasting bar where you can taste all the different wines and beers, but they have a full restaurant with like sandwiches and.
Sounds gorgeous. Sounds a great stop along the way.
The view's amazing. You can sit on top of the building and overlook the entire river, so it's great.
And that's called the Grafton
Winery and Brewhaus.
Winery and Brewhaus,
yes.
300 West Main Street in Grafton.
Yes.
Also, extra virgin olive ovation, 8829 Ladue Road.
Yes.
30 seconds. What's going on with Feast Magazine TV, multimedia world?
I mean, I'm busy. But one thing I do want to mention is along the lines of alcohol, sake is one of my favorite things, and it's one of those kind of things that people aren't that familiar with. It's brewed similar to beer, and we're actually doing a sake and sushi pairing dinner at Prosino, which I've mentioned before, in St. Charles. And they're bringing somebody in from Japan. They're bringing in a sake master from Japan to explain through all of the different courses of this dinner. It's in a couple of weeks, and for all the details, just go to feaststl.com. But it's like $50, and
it's a deal.
It's going to be a terrific event.
Are you here next week?
I will be here next week.
You're here next week. That's Kat Neville from Feast Magazine, feaststl.com. Newsstands everywhere. You can get it delivered right to your front door if you subscribe to the Sunday St. Louis Post-Dispatch. And if you go to stltoday.com/McGraw, you can get the McGraw deal on your Feast magazine sent to your door.
Perfect.
Have a good week.
You too.
8:47 traffic, weather, and Christine Byers from the Post. That's next.